COVID-19 Special Edition, Medical Frontiers.
One of the emerging crises of the COVID pandemic is the enormous impact on mental and emotional health. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in the US, the numbers of Americans with depression has quadrupled compared to last year. The mechanism of depression isn't completely understood, but today we're going to be looking at the causes of depression and exploring a possible new approach from the field of neuroscience.
The United Nations and the World Health Organization say mental health problems are rising due to the coronavirus pandemic. They're urging countries around the world to address the issue. Japan is no exception to the crisis. Tanaka Gensuke volunteers support for depression sufferers. He says more people have been asking for help since the pandemic started.
何か心配事があると、もうそれがどんどん膨らんでいって具合が悪くなっていくんですね。で、そういう方は7月ぐらいからもうはっきりそういう傾向が現れて、そういう相談も増えましたし、それから自殺者がその7月ぐらいから去年よりも多くなってきてしまったんですね。で、特にその中で女性の自殺者の方も増えてきて、不安障害の方も結構相談はほとんど女性の方が多いっていうような状態ですね。例えば仲間もいませんし、家族に話しても理解されないんですよね。それから経済的にも医療費とか薬代って結構高いのですごく負担になりますし、何しろ不安でじっとしていられないとか。
Psychiatrist Yoshitaka TATEBAYASHI has treated depression patients for 3 decades while studying the relationship between depression and the brain. Let's look at what is known about the mechanism behind depression.
先生、こんにちは。よろしくお願いします。
こんにちは。
よろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。
It's lovely to meet you and thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, I'm very pleased.
Doctor, I think everybody has days where they feel a bit down or they feel a bit, I guess, a little bit depressed. So how is this different and how is depression actually diagnosed?
Feeling slightly down for a short period isn't considered depression. The disease has certain symptoms, like a feeling of sadness, a loss of interest, sleeping problems, and eating disorders. There are 9 such symptoms. If at least 5 of them continue for 2 weeks, you will be diagnosed with depression.
The following 9 symptoms are used around the world in diagnosing depression. As Tatebayashi mentioned, a person will be diagnosed with depression if they have 5 or more of these symptoms for at least 2 weeks. Although research is still being done, scientists believe these symptoms are caused by abnormalities in the brain. To see what they are, let's look inside the brain. The human brain has about 86 billion nerve cells, including neurons. This broad network of neurons allows us to think, move our bodies, and control our emotions. Neurons transmit information, mainly using electrical signals. They communicate with one another at junctions called synapses. The signals are carried by substances called neurotransmitters. They travel from one neuron to the adjacent one at the synapse. One neurotransmitter is serotonin. If the concentration of serotonin at the synaptic cleft falls below a certain level, the signals are not transmitted properly. In people with depression, the secretion of serotonin and its concentration at the synaptic cleft is reduced. This disrupts the smooth exchange of signals and is believed to cause symptoms like sadness and anxiety. To correct this, a type of drug called a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, or SSRi, was developed in the 1980s. Serotonin is secreted from the presynaptic cell and it binds to receptors on the postsynaptic cell. But some of the serotonin returns to the cell it came from. SSRIs inhibit the reabsorption of serotonin. This raises the concentration of serotonin at the synaptic cleft and restores the proper transmission of signals. Scientists believe this is how the drug works. SSRIs, the go-to treatment for depression, are being improved to reduce the incidence of side effects. A new type of medicine has not been developed in the past 4 decades.
Doctor, are they always effective in everyone? Are they always effective?
The issue that psychiatrists are concerned about is that about 30% of the people who are treated with antidepressants or psychotherapy don't show any improvement. There are also many people who overcome depression with currently available treatments, but end up relapsing. These are big problems.
Tanaka, who's offering support to people with depression, spent 15 years battling the disease himself. He had problems with his company manager at the time and developed the illness. His doctor prescribed an SSRI.
なんか効いた感じはしないんですよ。だってそう飲んでたら例えばずっとどんどん良くなっていって、例えば熱が下がって風邪が治るとかそういうんじゃないんですよ。いくら飲んでも10年飲んでも全然良くならないわけですから。ただやめたらもっと悪くなるかもしれないから怖いからやめないだけで、そうするともう1日がもう100日ぐらいの感じなんですよ。もう1時間が1週間ぐらいの感じで、もう時間が経たないんですね。それが一番辛かったですね。
Tatebayashi's research team is studying the brain in detail in order to develop a more effective drug. The team analyzed the brains of healthy people and those of depression sufferers after their death. In the latter group, they found an abnormality in what's called a glial cell. The glial cells surround the neurons and support their activities. There are 3 main types. One of them supplies the neurons with nutrients. The second type protects the neurons from foreign enemies. The third type helps the neurons transmit signals. They are attracting the attention of researchers worldwide as a possible clue to a new treatment for depression. The third type of glial cell is where Tatebayashi's team found the abnormality. These glial cells are called oligodendrocytes. People with depression had 25% fewer oligodendrocytes than did healthy